Hello, today we're going to talk about attending and preparing for the Army Promotion Board. First thing first, I want to say congratulations. Now moving into what all you need to do to get ready. First thing first, you need to go and get a copy of your ERB. You can get this off of your AKO. It's right on the right hand side of the AKO screen as soon as you log in, and it says My ERB. Get your ERB, and you need to make sure that you have your weapons card, your PT card is up to date. Now with the weapons is good for 2 years and your PT card is good for 1 year. Also on your ERB, you need to make sure that everything on it is correct, because just because somebody else has already done it, an HRC or your admin or whoever else is supposed to have it fixed, sometimes it can have errors on it. Now you need to make sure that you also have your HOMA record and all those things up to date. Just a small admin stuff is up to date. And especially when you start going to more higher end boards, you need to make sure that, especially if you're a sergeant, that your duty positions and all your duty stations, all the times match up on there. And you even take it one step further to where your time that you spent at a duty position also matches the time that was spent on that, for that grading period, for that rating period. Meaning like on your NCORs, you know how you was rated as a squad leader for this time with that going on. You need to make sure all that is on there at the bottom part. Like all that is important. They look for every little thing. Now that you got your admin part out of the way, now what you need to do is you need to make sure that your Class A's, and for those who have took the next step to get your dress blues, you need to make sure your dress blues are straight. You want to make sure ahead of time that they fit properly. You don't want anything sticking out, any threads. Some people lose weight, gain weight. You want to make sure that is all done and squared away. Alright, now you got your uniform out of the way. Make sure you have all the correct awards, badge, decorations on there. You know, make sure that your weed is going the right direction. You know, make sure that you have, stay right on there. Make sure that you got all your little fingerprints off of it. And you make sure it's all nice and pretty. That's simple stuff. Now we're going to get into the fun part, which is studying. Study. If you got one of those positions where you feel like you're not being afforded enough time to study, that's fine. You got to think about every time you're on your text messages, on your phone text message, you could be studying. They have plenty of apps. They have apps out there to help you study. One thing I did to help me study for my last board I went to was a Sergeant of the Year competition here in Alaska. What I did was I actually recorded my voice with my voice memo on my phone. You just log into your phone, and I know it's on my iPhone. I know everybody else has it. I just made my own little voice memos here. You can see that. And I just recorded my voice, and that kind of is studying. I just do a whole, like first aid. I do the whole area for first aid on my phone. And then when I'm in my car, instead of listening to music, I was listening to my voice. So that means it takes me about 15 minutes to get to work every day. So that's 15 minutes of studying I get. It takes me 15 minutes to get home. It takes 5 minutes to get to a place where I want to go eat. Or even if I'm just driving around the installation, every time I was in my car, I made sure to plug it in, and that was my music, was listening to myself say the answers and the questions. And then I would even put a small break in between the question and answer, so it gives myself time in the car to answer back. That works. Flashcards work too. Now, when you're studying these FMs and studying the Army Study Guide or Alaska Study Guide or whatever your installation study guide is, you want to make sure that you're studying with some understanding. They want to know the book answer, but then again too, they really want to know what you know. Knowing and reading the study guide is only a part of it. Because if they ask you a situational question, the situation question is not in the book. How you answer the situational questions is by actually reading what leadership means, for example, and then being able to interpret it. Put it in your own words. Studying is only half of it. You got to be able to tell them what you know and how you study. This is everything they're going to be looking for. You might get lucky. You might get a board where they just ask you all book questions. Then you might be that person who get a board where it's only situational. Situational, once again, is what you've studied word for word, put into action. That's how you have to view it. Okay. Make sure you have what you're going to say out of the way. Like, make sure your bio is put together. Now, you don't have to read it in your mind word for word on the paper. You don't have to say it. You can just read over it, make sure you know what it says, and let it stick. Now, when you actually go into the board, every board that I've been to and every board I took the soldier to, when you enter in the board, the admin lady or guy, he'll come out and say, okay, you can come on in after your sponsor goes in. Now, when it's time for you to knock on the door, you're going to do a loud bang, bang, bang. It's only 3 knocks. You got that? 3 knocks. Not 1, not 2, not 4. It's 3 knocks. Once you enter into the board, make sure that the door is closed. Turn around and walk straight in and sit down. Nothing fancy. Just all you're doing is coming in, open the door, and go and sit down. Oh, excuse me. Not sit down. Ooh, excuse me. You're going to go in and you're going to stand in front of the sergeant major. Now, the sergeant major is all the way to the left. The thing is, you want to center yourself on the sergeant major. You're supposed to center yourself on him. So he's always pretty much going to be in the middle. Now, you're going to stop there. Then you're going to raise your hand. You're going to do a salute. And then you're going to say, Sergeant Sue reporting to the president of the board. You're going to hold that salute. Don't drop that salute until Sergeant Major salutes you and he drops his salute. What I mean by that is if Sergeant Major decides that he wants to inspect your uniform and he never saluted you, then that's where you're going to stand. Because this also is, they want to be able to see, can you follow instructions too. Now, you need to make sure you have your eyes open and your ears open. Because I've seen soldiers going to the board and they be so caught up in nervousness that they're not listening to the commands. If he tell you to lean in a little bit so he can get a better look at your awards. Now he'll drop his salute and you'll drop your salute. Now, next things is they usually start checking uniform. It depends on how thorough the board is. They're checking uniform, maybe even with a ruler, just to see if everything on there is lined up. This time, you still need to be standing straight at the position of attention or whatever position they last put you at. Next thing. Now, when it's time to start taking commands from Sergeant Major and he wants you to start doing your facing movements, then you start doing your movements. Now, he could actually tell you to recite the NCO Creed or the Soldier's Creed and do facing movements. This is where you have to apply yourself. Just stay focused and just relax. Say the NCO's Creed while you're doing your facing movements. Make sure your facing movements are precise. Now, another common mistake I see in the board, I've even done this before, is that first time he asks you to step off, a lot of times what you'll do is you don't swing your arms because you stiff as a board. Make sure you swing your arms. Make sure when he says take one full step forward, make sure that you're marching with one full stride, like all the way out. Because if he tell you to do a half march, a lot of times what he's trying to tell you is you just did a half of a march when I told you to do a full march. Now, when he says he's done with you doing all kind of movements, next what you'll do is, sorry, that's Amari over there talking to the neighbors out the window. Next thing what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go back to your seat. Go to your seat. When he say you done, you can take your seat. Go to your seat. You're going to take the most direct route to your seat. This doesn't mean try to do this fancy stepping movement. No, just go to your seat, sit down, and however you sit, that's where you stay. Hands either out like this on your legs, or you can do them like this. It's really up to you. Sometimes they don't even want you to do that. They gonna want you to have your hands all the way out. So that's at the discretion of the sergeant major. Now, however he addressed the board members is however you're going to address them. If he says, Sergeant Sue, this is Sergeant blah blah blah. This is First Sergeant blah blah blah. That's how you address them as the board goes on. Now, what I always tell my soldiers, what I always practice is, when they ask you the first question, what you need to do is, all you gotta do is answer them. So if they ask you a simple question, what Army regulation covers the wear and appearance of the uniform and Army insignia? What you'll do is, this is what I do, you'll say, First Sergeant, the Army regulation that covers the wear and appearance of the uniform is AR 670-1. Simple. What I always do is I state who they are first, repeat the question back in a sentence, and then answer it. That way I never forgot to address them. Next, I never forgot what they were asking me, and then I answered them. Now, try to answer every question the same. Answer the ones you do know and answer the ones you don't know all the same. This really does help. Now, if you come to a question and they ask you let's just say you don't know. Back to AR-67-1. Now let's just say they ask you, why do you wear the flag on the right shoulder? And you just really can't remember that answer to that question right now. Well, just tell them, First Sergeant, I do not know the answer to that question at this time, but I do know that it can be referenced in AR-67-1. Okay, that's the half a point. You didn't know the answer, but you did know where you can find it. That's a good thing as a leader. You don't always know the answer, but you know where you can go and get it and get the resources. That's where knowing the FMs, TMs, and the ARs comes into play. So you got to be able to study both. Next, when the board is over with, you want to make sure you stand up, salute them. And every board that I've been to, we always salute them with whatever the motto is for the battalion or for the brigade or whatever area that you're at. That's what you salute them with. And then you proceed to walk out. Now, one last thing. When you're in the board, make sure that you're talking loud. They're all deaf. They've probably been in the Army like 100 years. They're deaf. They want to hear you loud and scream. Like AR-67-1. You know, I'm not going to talk too loud. I don't want to blow your speakers, but you want to talk loud. And I always tell my soldiers, don't give them the answers. Give everybody else the answers outside. That's how loud you need to be. When it's time for you to do the song, sing it like you're singing in your car. You sing loud. It's okay if you can't sing a lick. You're not there to teach them how to sing the song. You're just there to deliver the message. And so that concludes today's video. I will bring you more tutorials on various different things. If you have any questions, just leave them below. And remember, I can be followed at my blog, which is www.combattestilettos.com. Bye.